Going to go out and do a lap in this car. It's one of the last laps anybody will probably ever take with an actual camera in the car around this fantastic 20-kilometre circuit that probably is going to write the last page in motor racing history. The circuit is 157 corners, takes about 6.5 minutes to get around, and is the most demanding circuit in the world. And I think the fact that we've got Rosberg here proves that I think every great driver in the world wants to feel that he's actually raced at the Nurburgring. So because next year, of course, we're going to have a new circuit. So I'm just going to go out in the car now, we hope get a decent lap around the circuit. Now here we are, just about to begin a lap of the famous Nurburgring motor circuit in the Eiffel Mountains, a 20-kilometre lap. We're coming up, in fact, to finish the last corner of that particular lap. Sweeping past the pits, second gear, up to third, over Little Brow, down into a second gear corner for this left-hand corner, medium speed corner, accelerating out with a little bit of wheel spin. In fact, this is called the Hudson-Back as we go down the mountain. The first bit, the sweep of lefts, rights, all the way down through. We've got up to speeds of around about 140 miles an hour down through here. We're starting to get a little twisty. This is the main part of the Hudson-Back. Third gear all the way through here, off the throttle, on the throttle, a dab of the brakes. And then this bit here, in fact, is the tightest part of the Hudson-Back. Accelerate through in third gear, low revs, and then brake and down to second. This bit, in fact, leads us down the hill towards the Flugplatz. We're up to third gear, fourth gear, and I was getting fifth, just going over this bridge. At this place, we're doing around about 170 miles an hour. Flugplatz, very famous brow. It's vital to clear the Flugplatz well because you've got a double right-hander following this, and it's absolutely imperative to get onto the long downhill sweeps, which lead you down through Cottonburn down to Schweidenkreuz. This is very, very fast section, as you can see, and in fact is probably as fast as the main straight, over 190 miles an hour. Dab of brakes here over this brow in fifth gear, and down into a 180-degree right-hander called Arenberg. This is a third gear corner, quite slow, but accelerates and is very important because following this we have the very famous foxhole or Fuchsrohr in German. We go down here very fast. Oh, there incidentally is Jackie Itz. He in fact is on his qualifying lap, and I followed him for a little way, but he's going very fast indeed because he doesn't have a camera in the car. Here we go in the bottom of the Fuchsrohr, up the other side, fourth gear, accelerate a bit down to third, sweep through here in third gear, and then second gear through Adenauer Forest. So it's a little bit tight through here. Accelerate out in second gear, up to third, and then up to fourth gear. It's quite tricky through here because the cambers are very tricky on this circuit, particularly with the ground effect part. So here we are, in fact, going through a very difficult left-hander again, which is a fourth gear corner, very fast. Now down to third gear, and we're leading down to a place called Kallenhardt. Over here, it's really quite difficult because you cannot see just exactly the line. Brake a little bit, down through third gear, accelerating, very important around the Nurburgring to be smooth at all times because the cambers do lead you astray a bit. We're now on our way down to Adenauer Bridge. Now just look at that view. Where else in the world does a circuit have a view like that? A wonderful panoramic view of the Nurburgring. This is a very difficult corner we're coming up to now. It's in fact very slow. It's a third gear leading into a sharp left-hander. In fact, we take this in second gear, but it's very difficult to get the power down as we sweep through here. Here we are, working our way down to the actual bridge itself, the famous Adenauer Bridge, which crosses over the main road here, actually the village of Adenauer beneath us. A little bit bumpy over the bridge. Now another important part, we're just coming to this right-hander here, it's third gear, but we've just got to get the power on the road, and the car's always inclined to slide away. Here we are accelerating now on our way up towards Bergwerk. Very, very tricky part of the circuit because of the high speed that we have to go through. Now a very important corner, this one, because it's a third gear corner. You've got to get the power on the road because we have about 2 kilometers of severe left-handers uphill. And of course uphill is where you make up all the time. You can lose a little bit downhill, but you must make it up uphill. And we're going to this corner now in fifth gear here at around about 175 miles an hour. The vibrations on the circuit and the bumps are absolutely astonishing. You can hardly hold the car at all. Very bumpy, and here a very difficult corner because the ground effects are working to their best effect right here. Fourth gear corner, this one. Left, left, and then a little squirt up over a blind brow. These are very difficult and typical of the Nurburgring. There's no other circuit really that has the sort of blind brows that we have. Now here we come, in fact, just coming up before the carousel, accelerating to a third gear corner up to the world famous carousel. There's a little bump, whoops, over the bump there, and accelerate up in third gear, and in fact drop into the carousel with ground effects. In fact, we're having a lot of difficulty keeping the car on the road. It's bumping and sort of porpoising through here, but we're going through in second. Accelerating in third gear now, fourth gear up towards Hohe Acht, which means the high hut, I think, or something like that. And here we are, very tricky little bit through here. The car is really tippy-toeing on this bit. Third gear at this point, squirting through the left, then through the right, actually up past the Hohe Acht. And then brake attack, then we start on our section going downhill towards the famous Whipperman. Some of you probably never seen this before, but to the drivers it's really quite a heart stopper this. It's very tight and very fast, and of course it's downhill. Here we are going right to the centre part of the Whipperman at this point. Over the top, which is blind as you can see, whoops right out to the grass there. This is all third gear corner stuff. Around here, now we're coming again to the Brunchen. This used to be quite a big jump years ago, and in fact they flattened it out as you can see, and it's not very exciting anymore. This is a second gear corner, could be third, depends actually which set of tyres you're using. And here we are going through a series of corners before we get to the Flanzgarten. This is quite tricky because again you can see our bird's eye view. In fact you cannot really see much of the track at times. There's a little jump coming up here, fourth gear, down to third, squirting through this. Again we have to set the car up through here. You cannot see that left-hand apex until you're upon it. And we're just going over the Flanzgarten now, right over the top. Fifth gear now, through these series of corners, coming back towards the Schwalbenschwanz. This is very fast, and the ground effect again does us, really beats the driver about through here. The big bump, you see the cam there, right there, the big bump. Third gear through here, leading us up to Schwalbenschwanz, and here it is. It's like a small carousel. In fact, we call it the little carousel. Through this, and you pop out of the top, and the car rocks a little bit there. Over the bump, up to fourth gear, just before we enter this fourth gear corner called Dottinger Höhe. Again, you cannot see the exit, but it's all important because it leads on the long straight back to the pits. And you look at that straight, it just streams away right up there. And on the right-hand side, you can see the castle here above Nurburg, the Nurburg Castle. Very, very interesting. But not that I'm ever looking at that, but I can afford to sometimes. Here we are, we're streaming along here at about 195 miles an hour. And somewhere along here, you're going to see a bridge. But the car is bumping about severely. You just don't seem to get the impressions with the camera, which is rather a pity. We go under Antunisbucker Bridge here at 190 miles an hour. In the bottom, you can see the marks on the road where the chassis have been touching there. Down to fourth gear. The car is really glued to the road with ground effect. Third gear, and into the chicane before the pits in second gear. We accelerate quietly through here. We don't want too much wheel spin. And up into the corner where we started the lap. We just completed a lap of the Nurburgring in 6 minutes 41 seconds. An average speed of about 120 miles an hour.